Hey guys. So I wanted to give you some insight into a project that I'm going to be working on over the next year. And it's called Wellness Legal Partnerships. If you've read any of my work, you've heard of it before. If you haven't read any of my work, I encourage you to do quickly what a wellness legal partnership is. It doesn't exist yet, except in my head and on paper and the articles I've written. And what it is a partnership between workplace wellness programs and a legal partner, legal/social worker partner. And the idea stems from a medical legal partnership, which there are over 400 medical legal partnerships in the United States, and they are housed within hospitals usually. So patients who come in and have a lot of social determinants of health issues, maybe job, housing, domestic violence, employment issues, they bring those things to the clinic. And of course, those things get in the way of the providers being able to treat whatever illness the patient is suffering from. And so by partnering with the legal/social worker partner, those underlying problems can get addressed. And the hope is that by clearing the way of those social and structural determinants of health, the treatment, whether it's prescriptions or procedures or advice given by the provider, will have more of an impact, because those other things that may be preventing someone from following the treatment protocol or adhering to the advice will improve by getting rid of those social and structural determinants of health. Similarly, in the workplace, when an employer implements a wellness program, they usually focus on lifestyle and behavior change. They are looking for the employee to engage in healthier behaviors, eating better, more exercise, more rest, less stress, with the goal of having a higher productivity, a lower absenteeism, more presenteeism in the workplace. But just like patients in the medical context, employees in the employment context might also be experiencing social and structural barriers that prevent that employee from engaging in these recommended lifestyle and behavior changes. And what I see from a wellness law perspective, wellness justice perspective, is that not all employees have the same resources and abilities to engage in wellness activities. And so to make wellness more accessible, wellness more equitable and just, wouldn't it make sense to provide help to employees who are suffering from environmental, maybe within the internal work environment or the external work environment, barriers that are getting in the way of them being able to engage in wellness activities? And so a wellness legal partnership would have the wellness program partner with a legal/social worker partner, who would then try to work with the employees to address some of those underlying issues, either in the workplace, it might be toxic work culture, or outside the workplace, maybe there's domestic problems or safety issues in the community, or probably a lot of income inequality problems. But to try to tackle those to the best of their ability, to be an advocate for those employees and a resource for those employees to understand what their legal rights are, and maybe be able to break down some of those barriers so that wellness can be more equitable, more accessible, and more just. And so I am going to be studying this concept, and by doing a survey over the next year of an employee population and trying to understand if this resource, a wellness legal partnership, were available to you as an employee, would you use it when you compare it to HR, going to HR for any issues, going to an EAP going to a peer support resource or doing nothing, what is the appeal of a wellness legal partnership? And what I'm really interested in, and I would love to hear back from all of you who are subscribers to my Substack, what do you think of that word wellness? If a resource that is a legal type resource to help employees break down external barriers that get in the way of them optimizing their well-being, if it's housed within something that is labeled a wellness program, is it less scary? Is there less stigma when approaching that resource versus whether that legal partnership maybe was part of an EAP or going to HR? Is that word wellness, does it carry some significance, positive significance, as far as a willingness of an employee to use the resource? And that's one of the things we'll be testing over the next year to see what kind of weight does that word carry. And if you guys have any thoughts about that or know of any studies that have looked at it, please share them with me on the Substack. I would love to hear your thoughts and learn about maybe some other research that's been done in this space. But that is one of the things, one of the many things that I'll be working on over the next year. And I just wanted to share it with you and give you a heads up. And of course, as I learn more, I'll be sharing it here and elsewhere. Looking forward to the next year and making some headway into the wellness justice space.